Welcome to the Nicholas 11x12 technology. To finally do something different than mouse reviews, I have a gaming keyboard to review here today. The Genius Manticore. This keyboard comes with RGB Illumination and belongs to Genius's GX Gaming Series product line. The Manticore costs about $75 right now, which isn't exactly cheap, but the price is still lower than the ones on high-end gaming keyboards. In the box, as you'd expect, is the keyboard itself, the user's manual, and the driver CD. First of all, to make things clear, this is not a mechanical keyboard. It features rubber dome switches. However, there's something special to it. Genius wants to simulate the key pressure of mechanical black switches with an actuation force of 45 grams. Besides, the Manticore also features 20 anti-ghosting keys, and that's quite a lot for a rubber dome keyboard. Also, RGB illumination is offered here in 3 individual areas. As for macro keys, there are a total of 8, and this keyboard can save up to 3 profiles. Last but not least, there are 2 USB 2.0 pass-throughs, and the cable is 1.8 meters long. Alright, first of all, the Genius Manticore doesn't look bad at all for its lower price point, but I'll admit I don't really like the design myself, since I prefer minimalistic designs, but I guess you've heard that often enough from me now. The case of the keyboard is entirely out of plastic, even the 2 red stripes on each side. The layout is a bit different compared to most other keyboards, actually very similar to the SteelSeries Apex Raw I've tested. As you can see, these aren't high profile keys, but also aren't low profile. It's something in between. Typing feels pretty good for a rubber dome keyboard, I must admit. It's just the layout that bothers me a bit. An actuation force of 45 grams is required here, which is kinda unusual for rubber domes, and therefore there definitely are similarities to a mechanical keyboard. As I've said before, there are 20 anti-ghosting keys. I'll mark them for you. Basically, the most important gaming keys have the anti-ghosting feature. To the left, we have a total of 8 macro keys that are shaped very well, so you can easily find them without looking. This keyboard can save up to 3 profiles to its onboard memory. Therefore, you practically have a total of 24 macros if you multiply the amount of keys with the 3 profiles. Right below the spacebar are 3 profile keys to switch between profiles on the fly. The Manticore features RGB illumination with up to 16 million colors you can customize in the Genius software. Also, there are 3 individual areas you can light up separately, as you can see, with 4 brightness levels. On the top we have 5 media keys. 1 to control the brightness, a play-pause key, and the volume up, down, and mute keys. Right beside the media keys is the master record key, which basically allows you to record macros on the fly. However, it's easier to do so in the Genius software. On the back of the keyboard are 2 USB 2.0 pass-throughs, and I really like it a lot that Genius marked the connections on the top here, so you don't always have to bend over to find the USB ports. On the bottom of the keyboard are 4 rubber feet as well as 2 stands with rubber pads on them so the keyboard doesn't slip away. The cable is 1.8 meters long, by the way, and is nicely braided just like on high-end keyboards. Also on the bottom there are 3 different slots to tuck away the cable, so that's basically cable management. I'm really glad Genius did that, and I think more manufacturers should offer this feature. It simply makes one's desk look a lot tidier. Oh, and before I forget, there's one thing I personally don't quite like about this Manticore keyboard, and that's the font Genius used for the keys. It really kinda reminds me of that Mahjong font. Nothing wrong with it, but I think the keycaps are the wrong place to have that font on. But I like the scorpion on the spacebar. The Genius software is fairly easy to use. You can pretty much reprogram every key. Recording macros also works flawlessly, and it's great to see the Windows key lock function here as well for the 3 different profiles. And as I've said before, you can customize the colors in the 3 individual areas, and you could even enable pulsation for the LEDs and even change the speed of it. The Genius Manticore is a pretty good gaming keyboard. Although it doesn't cost as much as the high-end ones, you get decent features. Maybe not as elegant, but they work just as well. In terms of design, for my personal taste, the Manticore has some weak points, but I can't really judge that. That's always a thing of preference. You might like the design. What I really like about this keyboard is the typing feel. Not the layout, but the way the keys feel when you press them down. That's most certainly because of the higher actuation force of 45 grams, and you know, I'm a big fan of mechanical keyboards. Again, all the features work well. It costs about $75, and therefore I can say it's a good keyboard with a good price-performance ratio. And that pretty much wraps this review up. I can definitely recommend the Genius Manticore gaming keyboard. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and visit niklas11x12techx.com to see videos there earlier than on YouTube. Also say no to ad blockers in order to support me and to make future videos possible. Thank you.